Hey guys, it's Jake, and today we're checking out the JST Toneforge Jeff Loomis by Joey Sturgis Tones. JST has made guitar plugins for the likes of Misha Mansour, Jason Richardson, and now most recently Jeff Loomis. If you don't know who Jeff Loomis is, why'd you click on this video? But if you don't know who he is and you still clicked on this video for some reason, Jeff Loomis is something of a modern day guitar hero. He got his start in the band Nevermore in the 90s. It was kind of one of the people at the forefront of the extended range guitar movement. He wasn't necessarily the first person to do it, but he definitely helped popularize 7-strings in modern music. In fact, he was the main reason why I wanted to get a 7-string when I was starting out, so that's why I made this demo with a 6-string. Because I'm good at planning videos. After Nevermore, he made a couple of solo instrumental guitar albums. He also was part of another instrumental project called Conquering Dystopia, and most recently he's joined the band Arch Enemy. I say recently, but he's been in it for like 5 years at this point. So Jeff Loomis has done a lot and influenced a lot of people, and his lead tone specifically is iconic in my opinion. When you hear his playing and his tone, it sounds just like him, and it's hard to mistake it. So obviously this plugin won't make you play like Jeff Loomis, but it does sound pretty good. This is my first experience with anything JST has ever made. I haven't used any of their plugins. They've been on my radar for quite a while, but I've never used anything by them before, so this is my first experience with it. And I gotta say, it's pretty good. So starting off with the effects in front of the amp, we've got a compressor and a TS style overdrive, pretty standard stuff. We have 3 amps to choose from. Clean amp, a rhythm amp with an option to switch between 6L6 and EL34 tubes, and then a lead amp. These amps sound sort of like different channels on the same amp, rather than 3 distinctly different amps. They all have pretty similar tonal characteristics to them, and they respond very similarly to how you play, which I think is a little bit nice. It kind of gives the entire plugin a bit more of a cohesive feeling, so you don't really need to change up the way you're playing to get certain tones out of the amp. It responds pretty evenly across all of the different channels. Then there's the effects loop section, which has a pretty in-depth reverb pedal. A lot of plugin companies tend to just put one kind of reverb in their pedal, maybe a second one if they're feeling generous, but this one's pretty in-depth. It has a bunch of different modes, from like halls to shimmer reverbs, some plate reverbs, room reverbs, just a bunch of different ones, and a couple of specialized ones that sound really nice on ambient clean parts or ambient lead parts. And then there's the delay pedal, which is a pretty standard delay pedal. Next we have the cabs. We have a JST matched cab, then another JST 4x12 with 4 different mic options for it, a SM57 off access, and then a couple of condensers. And then we also have some what's it called? Then there's also 4 unique IRs that are provided by Then we have 4 unique IRs that are provided by Bogren Digital. Yay! You can also blend 2 cab IRs together and create sort of your own unique impulse response. Out of all these, I'm the biggest fan of the Bogren cabs. They just seem to sit the best in mixes for me and sound the most organic. Some of the other ones can sound a little bit plasticky, but I think the Bogren stuff sounds great. After that, there's also a post EQ, which is a pretty standard EQ. You can bump or cut some frequencies. And then there's also a compressor at the end. Another unique feature about this is live mode. This is a feature that I think is really cool. Basically, if you have a MIDI foot switch, it allows you to switch between certain presets that you've made or that come with it. So in a live show, for example, you could use this instead of something like a modeler or even an amp. This is a really cool function because I've seen a lot of people trying to find solutions to use plugins and VSTs in live scenarios. And while it's definitely possible, it always requires a lot of moving parts and a lot of work on the user side. This really streamlines it and makes it so that switching between presets is super simple. You can also automate patch changes in your DAW, so if you run, a live set with a DAW and a click running, you can have it switch automatically, so you can have an entire set where you don't even need to step on anything, everything just switches for you. This is something I think is really cool, and I think a lot of other developers should take note of, since a lot of people are turning to VSTs for live use, and I think that this is by far the most intuitive way you could do that using just a plugin. Honestly, if you just have a mixer and this, you could do an entire show from your laptop. Alright, so that does it for the overview. I'm just going to jump into some stuff that I like about the plugin and some stuff that I think could use some work. So starting off, I think that It is pretty intuitive to use. I think that everything sounds pretty decent, and it can get you an approximation of just about any kind of sound you'd want, from super pristine cleans, crunches, heavy rhythms, and then just, you know, super metal leads that Jeff Loomis is known for. I think it does all these pretty well, and it's a very versatile plugin. Some of the stuff I don't like, I do wish that the cab IR section had a little bit more depth when it comes to customizing your IR, especially with the JST 412. It lets you pick the mics, but it doesn't really let you tweak mic position or anything like that, like a lot of other plugins do. It does have a way for you to mix two IRs together, and it also lets you import your own third-party IRs, but I do wish that they gave you a little bit more options within the plugin. Another thing that I think could use work is I don't like that you need to click into each individual pedal to adjust it and then click out of it to adjust other things in that section. It just seems clunky to me. I know it sounds like a little nitpick, but you know, when I'm making tones, it kind of bogs down the whole process and just adds in a lot of extra tedium, and it just seems like it's something that's unnecessary, since it's not something that I've seen in any other guitar plugin. The last thing is that the tuner that's built into it is not the best. I know that to a lot of people that's going to be like a, well, who gives a fuck about it? It's a tuner. And ordinarily I would agree with you, since a lot of guitar plugins don't even come with tuners. But this seems to be planting itself as both a recording and live solution, and if it doesn't have a decent tuner, then it's going to kind of hurt its usability live. Granted, it still works, but there's like a delay when it comes to tuning different strings. It takes a minute to switch over, and it will often pick up other strings, and it's just not one of the better digital tuners that I've used. Other than that, I think this is a very versatile plugin, and if you're just starting to get into recording guitar, I would say look into something like this because it offers you a bunch of different tones all in one plugin. Alright, that's it for me, guys. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you want to check out this plugin. If you like the song that you heard in this video, it's the song Sinners by my band The Perceiver. I'll leave a link down to that in the description below. And yeah, if you like what you saw, you can subscribe for more content. I'll be posting more videos hopefully every week this year. That's my goal. If you want to follow me, I'll leave a link to my social media down in the description below. Follow me there, keep up with what I'm doing. And that's about it. See you guys next time.